You think Minnesota is just cold weather and nice people? That mental picture just cost you the truth about America's most underestimated state. Today, I'm counting down 22 facts that will completely rewrite what you thought you knew. And trust me, number 1 is going to change how you see the entire country. Fact 22. The lake monopoly. Minnesota doesn't just have lakes. It has 11,842 of them. That's more than California, Texas, and Florida combined. When the state motto says, land of 10,000 lakes, they're actually underselling it by nearly 2,000. Drive in any direction for 20 minutes and you'll hit water. Fact 21. The forgotten rainforest. Northern Minnesota contains the only temperate rainforest east of the Rocky Mountains. The Boundary Waters Canoe area gets over 30 inches of rain every year and hosts ecosystems you'd expect in the Pacific Northwest, not the Midwest. Moss-covered granite, towering pines, and silence for miles. Fact 20. The Iron Range crater. The Iron Range isn't just a mining region, it's a 110-mile-long scar that produced 70% of America's iron ore during both world wars. The Hull-Rust Mahoning mine is so massive you can see it from space, 2.5 miles long, 535 feet deep. It powered the entire Industrial Revolution. Fact 19. The Canadian border anomaly. Minnesota extends farther north than any other state in the lower 48. The northwest angle juts into Canada like a geographic glitch. It's accessible only by boat or by driving through Manitoba. It's the only place in the contiguous United States where you're truly north of the 49th parallel. Fact 18. The Retail Revolution. The first indoor shopping mall in America opened in Edina, Minnesota in 1956. Southdale Center invented climate-controlled consumer culture. Before this, shopping meant braving the weather. After this, malls became America's third place. One Minnesota architect changed how the entire world shops. Fact 17. The pacemaker birthplace. The first implantable pacemaker was developed at the University of Minnesota in 1957 by Earl Bakken. That invention has saved millions of lives worldwide. A $400 billion medical device industry traces back to one Minneapolis lab. Fact 16. The supercomputer capital. Seymour Cray built the world's fastest supercomputers, and his company Cray Research headquartered in Minnesota. By 1985, Cray machines powered 70% of the world's supercomputing. Silicon Valley got the headlines. Minnesota built the actual computing power. Fact 15. The surgical theater. The Mayo Clinic in Rochester isn't just a hospital, it's the reason getting a second opinion exists in modern medicine. Founded in 1889, it pioneered the integrated group practice model where specialists collaborate instead of compete. It transformed healthcare from solo practitioners into coordinated teams. Fact 14. The Spam Empire. Austin, Minnesota produces 435 cans of Spam every second, 13 billion cans since 1937. Hormel's so-called mystery meat, fed Allied troops in World War II, became a cultural icon in Hawaii and Asia, and turned a small Minnesota town into a global food phenomenon. Fact 13. The coldest inhabited place. Tower, Minnesota holds the record for coldest temperature ever recorded in the lower 48, minus 60 degrees Fahrenheit in 1996. Not Alaska. Minnesota. At that temperature, exposed skin freezes in under 5 minutes, and car tires crack like glass. Fact 12. The twine ball obsession. Darwin, Minnesota houses the world's largest ball of twine rolled by a single person. Francis Johnson spent 29 years creating an 8.7-ton, 12-foot diameter sphere. It draws over 10,000 visitors annually. It's weird Americana, but also a monument to obsessive dedication. Fact 11. The underground city. Minneapolis has 8 miles of climate-controlled skyways connecting 80 city blocks. In winter, 200,000 people navigate an elevated city without touching ground level. It's the most extensive skyway system on Earth, a parallel urban dimension invisible from the street. Fact 10. The wolf comeback. Minnesota is the only state in the lower 48 that never lost its gray wolf population. While other states exterminated wolves by the 1930s, Minnesota maintained 400 to 700 wolves during the worst persecution. Today, 2,700 wolves roam northern forests, proof that coexistence was always possible. Fact 9. The headwaters myth. Lake Itasca is marked as the source of the Mississippi River. But it isn't the true beginning. The real source is Nicollet Creek, feeding into Elk Lake, which flows into Itasca. But the romantic 1832 discovery story stuck. Even geographic facts bow to better storytelling. Fact 8. The Boundary Waters Silence. The Boundary Waters is one of only 5 places in the United States where you can experience true acoustic silence. No human-made sound for miles. Noise levels drop below 20 decibels. Your heartbeat becomes the loudest thing you hear. Fact 7. The Honeycrisp Monopoly. The Honeycrisp apple, now an $800 million industry, was developed at the University of Minnesota in 1960, but not released until 1991. That single delayed fruit launch created the premium apple market and changed grocery economics forever. Fact 6. The Theater Capital. The Twin Cities have more theater seats per capita than any U.S. city except New York. Minneapolis alone has 2.6 million annual theater attendees, more than the city's entire population. Broadway shows test here before New York because Minnesota audiences are that sophisticated. Fact 5. The Skateboarding Mecca. Burnsville's vertical skateboarding scene in the 1980s produced Tony Hawk's biggest rivals and influenced modern skate culture more than California. Midwest winters forced innovation, indoor parks, vertical ramps, and technical tricks that warm weather skaters couldn't match. Fact 4. The Voyageurs Mystery. Voyageurs National Park is 40% water, making it the only national park where you need a boat to explore most of it. And here's the mystery. Ancient indigenous copper mining sites dot the islands, with evidence of industrial-scale extraction 5,000 years ago. Someone was running a sophisticated mining operation before the pyramids were built. Fact 3. The Tornado Contradiction. Minnesota ranks 4th nationally for tornado frequency, averaging 45 per year. But unlike Tornado Alley states, Minnesota tornadoes hide in forests and lake country, making them nearly invisible until impact. The deadliest tornado in U.S. history hit St. Cloud in 1886, 72 deaths in minutes. Fact 2. The Canadian accent lie. Minnesotans don't sound Canadian. Canadians sound Minnesotan. The distinctive accent originated with Scandinavian and German immigrants in the 1880s, then spread north into Manitoba and Saskatchewan through railroad workers. Linguistic studies show the accent flow went south to north, not the reverse. Pop culture got it backwards. Fact 1. The hidden superpower. Minnesota has the highest voter turnout in America, consistently above 75%, nearly 20 points higher than the national average. In 2020, Minnesota hit 79.96% turnout, while the U.S. averaged 66. This isn't random civic pride. It's the result of same-day registration, no-excuse absentee voting, and a political culture that treats voting as non-negotiable. While other states suppress turnout, Minnesota engineered the opposite. One quiet Midwestern state solved democracy's biggest problem, and nobody talks about it. That isn't just a statistic. That's proof that American democracy works when you design it to work. Every fact you just heard, from the lake monopoly to the democracy solution, was hidden behind a stereotype that said, Minnesota equals cold and nice. That stereotype wasn't just wrong. It was hiding one of the most fascinating states in the country. Which fact completely rewired your brain? Drop the number in the comments. And if you're from Minnesota, tell us what we missed, because you and I both know there's more. Next video, I'm breaking down the state everyone thinks they know, but actually has backwards. And the number one fact is going to make you question everything you learned in school.